Okay, last pre-final of the 2024 Chrono Karting Dutch Championship season. It's KZ2. Let's have a look at the starting grid. And what a surprise. On debut, running with SLC Karting, Jaden Teen, accompanied by Senna van Valstein, who we were just talking about a few moments ago, starts from pole position. The only driver to go sub 52 seconds yesterday in time qualifying. He's joined by Jens Treur, who currently leads the KZ2 Championship coming into this final round of the season on 593 points. And it is the penultimate race of Farin Mega's karting career. Had a chat with his mum Nina. Of course, we've both known Farin for quite a few years. Farin has decided to, after this weekend, he decided a year ago, he's going to concentrate on driver coaching. So Farin's last race will be here as a karter after 10 years behind the wheel. He starts in P3, he's fourth in the championship standings coming into this round. He's joined by countryman Daniel Stell on row number 2, Thomas Cypers and Enzo Alibax on row 3, Bob Plug and Kevin Stehauer row 4, Dirk van Sifthout and Daniel Tenbach ran out the top 10 with Tim Verelst, Rob Lucas, Enzo Boll, Christopher Zaxter, Len Nyes, who I had a wonderful catch-up with yesterday evening. Starts 15th, ahead of Oscar Steinbach, Erik Angenent, Drake Janssen, Frederick Zebis, another driver from DD2, now joins the KZ2 brigade. He'll be joined by Dan Zopfi on row number 10. Jelte Bouma, Rick Mewes, Nigel Hendricks, Jori Molema, Christian de Klein, Jeffrey Fixer, Robin Glirum, Matthew van der Broek and Dominic Reuters round out 29 drivers. So, coming into the championship finale, Jens Treur leads on 593 points, ahead of Robin Glirum on 590. Daniel Tenbach, Farin Mega and Kevin Stehauer all have a mathematical chance of becoming the 2024 Chrono Karting KZ2 champion. Last year, the title went to former SP Motorsport driver and now vehicle detailer, Quinn Winkel. But Jaden Teen, pole position. I said on the commentary for the Circuit PA system last night, I went, I'm not at all surprised. I really am not, and especially when he's got Van Valstein in his corner. He's now wearing a Sodi Kart uniform, which I think has Van Valstein's name on it, so obviously hand-me-down. But an impressive debut on qualifying. But the biggest thing is his mechanic, Raymond Riefveld, who we all know in this paddock, celebrating his birthday yesterday. Many happy returns, Raymond. Said it's going to be about that start. Again, we go to an even more competitive shifter class with KZ2. And considering the fact he's got the championship leader alongside him, that's a pretty fearsome task to come up against, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a very impressive lap in qualifying. And I wonder how it's going to go in the races for him. Of course, he's a very experienced driver also in Rotax. So we're going to see how he keeps up in KZ.
So, green flag is set to be waved at the back end of the field. There we go. Green flag is waved. Drivers instructed to look at the lights. Revs rise. And we're underway. That's a... Oh, dearie me. Second phase of the start for Jaden Teen did not go well. And that, I think...
Oh, he goes off.
Oh, dear. He went straight off at turn 2. And he stopped the kart, I think. On his truck. No, he's rally crossing it. He's doing the Joker lap at the moment. But that was not, I think, in the plan. The first stage of it, it got underway. Oh, no, that's... Yeah, you can... He's trying to shift up. I don't think the kart's complying with him at all. He bogged down, but there's a big old Barney going through into turn 7, I've just seen. There were like 5 or 6 karts all over the shop coming through the chicane. And I think that might be Thomas Cypers that could be leading. Glirum, I think, might be up against it at the moment as we find out who will be leading the way after the opening lap. And coming through to cross the line
I think that's Daniel Stell.
Daniel Stell is leading. Thomas Cypers in second.
But he goes
straight on. Straight on into the wall. That is an SP Motorsport kart. And I think that might have been... I'm just trying to keep an eye on what exactly happened. But the driver went straight on. And that was at turn 10. So, yeah, Jaden Teen bogs down at the start. I thought initially he got the getaway, but maybe the gearbox didn't comply at that point, and that's why he dropped down the order.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's always difficult, and going into turn 1 with cold tires, it's difficult to keep the KZ on track. So, yes, of course, it's very difficult to start in KZ, and I think he found out in the irritating and difficult way.
Yeah, so now new race leader, Thomas Cypers in the 278, now 6/10 of a second ahead of Daniel Stell from Germany. Jens Treur, Bob Plug, Renzo Alibax. We had a great battle with Jeffrey Fixer last time out at round 7 in the final against Jeffrey Fixer, who was leading with about 3 laps to go, and then Alibax found that he had kept the tyres a little bit more than Fixer, who had been pushing the kart considerably. I think it might have been, well, there is the kart there. I'm still trying to make out the number. Also good to see that a couple of the teams trying to run the old DAP livery. There's Enzo Boll up the inside of Daniel Ten back through the final corner. So that is going to be a change for 6th position. So Drake Jansen is out. So I've got a feeling that will be the driver that went straight on into the foam barriers off of turn number 10 at Cafe Corner. And again, just like with DD2 and DD2 Masters, you explained this earlier, Job, that it is a front and rear braking system. You've got a dive going through into turn number 7. Again, it's just, if air gets into the system, you're pumping air, you're not pumping fluid, and that's not going to circulate to the brake pads or the brake discs on the front and rear axles, and you can quite literally become a passenger.
Yeah, unfortunately that can happen sometimes, and especially in KZ, you really lean on the front brakes and you shift down in the gears, and yeah, it de-accelerates very, very quick.
I mean, how impactful is that? Okay, we've got a mechanical black flag coming out. Can't make out the number. I think it might be... well, I know it's a 2. But the thing is, with some of the work that I do, we do normally have a digi flag, but with good old chrono karting, it's old school, so I think it might be a 2-6. But we'll wait to see who parks it in the pit lane. It looks like Jaden T.
Oh, I think it's the 265 running without a bumper right now.
Oh, he's gone old school. He's gone back to the 1960s on that one. That is Erik Angerent, so he will have to park that kart. Yeah, I still remember doing, what was it, B&L Karting Series, Ostikor. No, it wasn't Ostikor. It was Ostikor. And Morgan Riesch clipped the curbs going through the double left at turns 5 and 6, and the bumper just went ping. Like it can easily be done, because curbs on tracks nowadays are getting higher and higher, and you've got to be very, very careful how you park it on the racing line. And also, if you want to be a bit aggressive with the curbs, yes, you can be, but you can either click the bumper in, or it just completely exits off the kart, as we've just seen with Erik Angerent.
Yeah, and we have here on Genk, the same as in Kerpen, the flaps in the chicanes. I mean, it's always a pity to run into a front bumper penalty right there. So it's something you have to look out for also. Yeah.
So Erik Angerent becomes the 3rd retiree after Drake Jansen and Jaden Teen. Of course, not the way that you want to start your efforts possibly into KZ or into shifter class next year. A little bit further up the road, Jens Treur has been chased down by the winner at Circuit Berchem just 3 weeks ago. Of course, Circuit Berchem hosted the Grand Prix of the Netherlands for FIA karting between 1992 and 1994, because they've still got the old school posters on the wall, actually between the main cafeteria and going to the restrooms. which was something I noticed, and I thought, oh, that's a little bit of trivia. And that's one of the wonderful things about this sport, is that we see so many drivers make their way into, and as you just look, so I don't know if you've seen the announcements, like the amount of penalties coming through. We've got 6 of them in total, including the meatball flag for the 265 of Vedek Anganen, but Thomas Seiper's leading the way.
Yeah, but it's now that Daniel Stel seems to be gaining ground a little bit on the race leader. He's closing the gap, and I think we might see a possibility for an overtake pretty soon.
Yeah, gap between them was 0.3 of a second after lap number 7. We're on lap 8 with 3.25 minutes to go, plus the 2 additional laps. So Jens Stur at the moment, currently running P4. Robin Glirum, now where is he at the moment? Currently running 12th, having started 27th. And he's not the biggest climber, because there's an old name that we both know.
Yeah.
Christian de Klein, who started 25th.
And now is in 9th place. Wow, that's quite some positions gains for Christian.
Yeah, so Robin Glirum, Daniel Tenbach, currently running 7th. Where is Mr. Fahin Mega? Started P3, currently P8. Kevin Stehauer down 2 spots from 8th and is currently running in 10th position. But again, as you alluded to in the previous race for KZ2 Masters for the pre-final, was the fact that, again, it's just picking your spots. You've got to be very, as you said, and when you said the word multitasking, I had to do a double take. I was like, hang on, did I just hear that right? And it's also the same as what you could say with regards to your efforts now in the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 that you race. But again, we're seeing a lot of close battles, and this is a hallmark of KZ2 competition.
Yeah. Speaking about close battles, we have now Enzo Bol trying to make a move on Renzo Alibox. Pretty close between those two. So we have some fights a little bit further back outside of the top 5 also.
Yeah, and Daniel Tenbach has just been passed by Christian de Klein, who 3 laps ago put in the fastest lap of the race, a 52.061. So we are literally, folks, less than a 10th off of the pole position time from Jaden Team last night, which is a 51.984. Only driver to go sub 52 seconds. And we also see it sometimes as well, where the fastest lap of the race is actually quicker than the pole time. And I've noticed that this season. I've gone, hang on, that was the pole position time that's just been beaten by the person who's just put in the fastest lap. And now, Daniel Stel, but it's not just Daniel Stel that's coming into this mix. I spot Bart Plug there in 3rd, who's also closed on in and has gone quicker than the 2 in front of him.
Yeah, it seems to be a 3 fight for the lead right now. We still have 3 laps to go, so I think it's gonna be a very tight race.
Oh dear, Farin Megas just picks up a 3-second penalty for unsportsmanlike driving conduct, which can also mean the fact that if you've caused an incident and you're the one at fault, you will get pinged for said penalty by either the race director or also the clerk of the course. But we are coming down to the last few laps before we head to a brief break. Obviously, we do need to get some refreshment and some lunch and things like that. And obviously, you've got to get back to your driver coaching. But I'm looking forward to having you back in the box for when we do the last 2 races of the championship season. A big thank you to Martin from Lifetime, who's keeping me updated as to... Oh, right, okay. There's going to be 3 drivers battling out for DD2. I will let you keep on guessing as to who has just been eliminated. So, don't tell them. I want to keep it a surprise. But now the time has expired, and here comes Bart Plug. You can see a little bit of, not desperation, but a sense of urgency with Daniel Stel, because he's like thinking, I'm not going to catch Cypers, but if I can keep Plug at bay, it gives me an opportunity to be on the front row of the grid for the final later on.
Yeah, and of course the finals, the race that counts, because that's where the podiums are divided. Both pre-final and final counts towards the championship, but only the final counts for the day result. So he's definitely thinking about that one in the back of his head.
That he definitely is. So down the Europa line for the penultimate time here before the lunch break here at Chrono Karting for the final round of the 2024 season, where we started on February the 25th back at this very circuit. Let's not forget, and also the season for a lot of drivers actually started a couple of weeks beforehand with this year's Champions Winter Trophy. Through turn number 10. I love the fact that they're able to just point these karts, squirt the throttle up, you know, bang up the gears, a couple of gears, and now it's going to be at full throttle. There's going to be a little bit of a battle. That is going to be, I think Christian de Kleins just got through on Enzo Bol, and that has happened. Onto the final lap we go. Cypers leaves from Stel and Plug, and they're covered by half a second. I think Cypers got this one in the bag, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's really difficult to overtake now in the remaining part of the track, because Cypers has been able to find a little bit of a gap. He seems to be really strong throughout the double right-hander here.
Yeah, very much the case. But we are coming down to the final couple of corners of the morning's action here at Chrono Karting for the 8th and final round of 2024. And through turn 11 for the final time here on lap number 14. Turn 12 awaits, and they power out of the final corner. Thomas Cypers from 5th on the grid takes the win ahead of Daniel Stahl. Bart Plug, Jens Tur goes into the final round of the championship season with the psychological and positional advantage. By that I mean mentally and also on the grid. So Renzo Alebax takes 5th ahead of Christian de Klein. Enzo Bolt, Foreign Mega gets a 3-second time penalty, and that will drop him to round about 12th place. It'll put him behind Robin Glirum, so that will promote Kevin Stehout, Daniel Tenbach, Dirk van Sifthout, Robin Glirum. Then it will be Farin Mega, Dominic Hoyters, Len Nyes, Tim Verelst. Jeffrey Fixer made it up to 16th by the flag, having started 26th ahead of Oscar Steinbach. Then we got Rob Lucas and the two Danes, Frederick Zebis and Christopher Zaxa, running at the top 20. Rick Mewes, Dan Zopfi, Jelle Tibuma, Nigel Hendricks, Jure Mulema and Matthew van den Broek round out the 26 finishers. Unfortunately, lap 4, we saw Eric Angenent retire with a missing front fairing, Jaden Teen with gearbox problems on lap 3, and Drake Jansen out on the opening tour.